Have you ever felt like you're losing your mind in your late 30s or early 40s? Maybe you're suddenly experiencing rage over a misplaced spoon, or perhaps you're waking up drenched in sweat despite the air conditioning. It's not just stress, and you aren't going crazy. You are likely entering perimenopause, the puberty in reverse that no one seems to talk about until they are right in the thick of it. Perimenopause is the transitional phase leading up to menopause, the point when a woman has gone 12 consecutive months without a period. This bridge can last anywhere from 2 to 10 years. During this time, the production of estrogen and progesterone by the ovaries begins to fluctuate wildly and eventually decline. This isn't just about the end of fertility, it's a systemic recalibration that affects everything from your brain chemistry to your bone density. Awareness is the first step toward reclaiming control.
Welcome to Health 600's Noble Science in 600 seconds. Your life-changing 10 minutes. Let's go!
Chapter 1: The Invisible Shift. What's actually happening? The biological reality of perimenopause is often described as a hormonal roller coaster. Unlike menopause, which is characterized by consistently low levels of estrogen, perimenopause is defined by chaos. Your ovaries are like an aging power grid. Sometimes they surge, producing more estrogen than they did in your 20s, and sometimes they flicker out, leaving you with almost none. This volatility is what triggers the most intense symptoms. Progesterone, the calming hormone, usually drops first, leaving estrogen unopposed. This imbalance can lead to heavier periods, breast tenderness, and increased anxiety. Simultaneously, your brain's communication with your ovaries, the HPO axis, becomes less efficient. Your pituitary gland works harder to signal the ovaries to ovulate, leading to those erratic spikes. Understanding that this is a physiological transition, not a personal failing, is vital. It is a natural biological evolution, yet it requires a new level of self-care and medical understanding to navigate without feeling overwhelmed by the internal storm. Chapter 2: The Symptoms Nobody Warned You About. While most people associate this phase with hot flashes, the reality of perimenopause symptoms is far more diverse and often quite stealthy. One of the most debilitating yet underdiscussed symptoms is brain fog. You might find yourself standing in the middle of a room forgetting why you walked in or struggling to find common words mid-sentence. This occurs because estrogen plays a critical role in brain glucose metabolism. When levels drop, your brain is quite literally struggling for fuel. Then there is the emotional toll. Peri-rage is a very real phenomenon where irritability becomes intense and instantaneous. Because progesterone is a precursor to GABA, a neurotransmitter that helps you relax, its decline can leave you feeling perpetually on edge. You might also experience sudden bouts of anxiety or even panic attacks, even if you've never had a history of mental health struggles. Physical changes are equally surprising. Joint pain is a common symptom because estrogen is an anti-inflammatory. As it wanes, old injuries might flare up, or new aches might appear in your hips and knees. You might notice burning mouth syndrome, changes in body odor, or a crawling sensation on your skin called formication. Sleep becomes elusive, not just because of night sweats, but because of a decrease in melatonin production and an increase in sleep apnea risk. Perhaps most frustrating is the menopausal middle, a redistribution of weight to the abdomen that seems resistant to traditional dieting. These symptoms aren't isolated incidents. They are a constellation of signs that your body is searching for a new equilibrium. Recognizing them for what they are, hormonal signals, can significantly reduce the fear and frustration that comes with this life stage. Chapter 3: Lifestyle Tweaks for Modern Relief. Managing perimenopause requires a multi-pronged approach that begins with the foundations of health. Nutrition becomes your primary tool for stabilization. Shifting toward an anti-inflammatory diet, rich in leafy greens, fatty fish, and fiber, can help mitigate the systemic inflammation that causes joint pain and brain fog. Fiber is particularly crucial because it helps the body metabolize and excrete excess estrogen, preventing the estrogen dominance that causes heavy periods and bloating. Exercise also needs an upgrade. This is the time to transition from high-intensity steady-state cardio, which can spike cortisol and exacerbate belly fat, to strength training. Building muscle is essential because it boosts a slowing metabolism and protects bone density, which begins to drop as estrogen declines. Even 2 sessions a week can make a massive difference in how your body handles the transition. Sleep hygiene must become non-negotiable. Using cooling bedding, keeping the room at 65 degrees, and avoiding alcohol, which is a major trigger for night sweats, can help preserve the deep sleep necessary for cognitive function. Stress management, whether through breathwork, yoga, or simply setting firmer boundaries, isn't just a luxury. High cortisol levels actively compete with your remaining progesterone, making your symptoms feel 10 times worse. By lowering your stress load, you give your hormones a fighting chance to level out. Chapter 4: The Medical Toolkit, HRT and Beyond. When lifestyle changes aren't enough to maintain your quality of life, it is time to look into the medical toolkit. For decades, hormone replacement therapy, HRT, was unfairly maligned due to misinterpreted data from the early 2000s. Modern science, however, shows that for most healthy women under 60, the benefits of HRT, now often called menopause hormone therapy, MHT, far outweigh the risks. HRT can stabilize the hormonal peaks and valleys, eliminating hot flashes, protecting bone health, and significantly improving mood and cognitive function. There are various forms of delivery, including transdermal patches, gels, and sprays, which are often preferred over oral pills because they bypass the liver and carry a lower risk of blood clots. For those who still have their uterus, progesterone must be taken alongside estrogen to protect the uterine lining. Beyond hormones, there are non-hormonal options. Low-dose SSRIs can be effective for managing the severe vasomotor symptoms, hot flashes, and the mood swings associated with the transition. Gabapentin is sometimes prescribed off-label to help with sleep and nerve-related symptoms. If a doctor dismisses you with "it's just part of aging," seek a second opinion or look for a provider certified by the North American Menopause Society, NAMS. You do not have to white-knuckle your way through these years. There are science-backed interventions available that can help you feel like yourself again. The goal of medical intervention isn't to stay young forever. It's to ensure that this decade of your life is lived with vitality and comfort rather than suffering in silence. Chapter 5: Rewriting the Narrative, Your Second Spring. In many cultures, the transition through perimenopause is seen not as an ending, but as a second spring. It is a period of shedding the expectations and societal pressures that often dominate our younger years. As the biological drive to care for others, driven by high oxytocin and estrogen shifts, many women find a new sense of clarity, confidence, and no-nonsense energy. This is a time to reevaluate what you want for the next half of your life. While the symptoms can be challenging, they are also a signal to slow down and prioritize your own well-being. By educating yourself, seeking the right support, and honoring your body's changing needs, you can emerge from this transition stronger and more self-assured than ever. Perimenopause is not a decline, it is an evolution. Embrace the change, advocate for your health, and prepare for the powerful person you are becoming on the other side. Don't just watch, take action right now. I have already shortlisted the exact products and tools you need to secure your results. Scan the video description below to get your protocol hardware today.
This is Health 600s, and I'll see you in the next 600 seconds.